Welcome back to Rimworld. It occurs to me that I should probably start keeping notes between games, otherwise I have no idea what I'm doing when I come back. Fortunately, I can usually pick up pretty quick. So let's look. The last time we left off, we had just gotten our first road made, so we have a little bit of construction going on. As soon as we have more slate, we'll start circling around the farm more. We'll get around the bedrooms to help keep them cleaner. It'll be a slow process, but once it gets done, we'll have a proper city going here. At some point, we'll also need to start making a city wall just for some defense. That'll come later, though. We do still have a guest here. Our archer with a knife, who refuses to actually use anything that shoots. That's somewhat annoying. And we do still have the two muffalo that we're taking care of. We do have cloth that needs to be brought in. We have research that still needs to be done. Lots of stuff to do, not nearly enough people to do it. Let's see what happens this time, though. Maybe we'll get some help. So let's start time and see where this takes us. We'll speed up a little bit of time since everyone's going to sleep. Give everyone a chance to get some rest. While they're doing that, let's check on our bills. Food looks good. We're taking care of that just fine. We do still need to get these built so we have somewhere to store all of our food. But we don't have an excess of food yet, so it's not a terrible concern. It's the middle of the winter, but we do have a permanent summer, so we're doing really good there. Otherwise, we might be in trouble. And we have a new quest. Ship to the Stars. So a lot of different ways to end Rimworld. The two primary ones are escaping on a ship. And that can be done in one of two ways. In our research, once we get to the end, and that is a long way in the future, we can learn how to build a ship. We can build our own ship and hop in, take off. But there is an alternate way to get off the planet that doesn't require as many resources. A friendly AI named Charlin Whitestone has sent a message. There's a ship on the planet, and it's waiting for us. This is the other way to end the game. It's less resource intensive, but it does come with its own problems. For starters, the quest always requires you to travel, and generally speaking, it's almost always on the other side of the world. That is a long trip. Let's see. So there's our first flag, all the way across the planet. "41 days of constant travel." That is a lot of traveling. And when you're traveling, you're not researching, you're not building, you're not growing. It can be a very hard trek. The other problem is, this is an ice sheet. Temperature is going to average about -24 degrees Fahrenheit. You will never grow anything. There is no ground. There are no mountains. It's an ice sheet. It is literally a flat plane of nothing. Surviving on an ice sheet is near impossible. So, we are not going for that ship. If we need a ship to get out of here, we'll make our own. There is a third way to get off the planet now. With the Royalty DLC and the addition of the Empire, if you can increase your relations with them, rank up, become part of their inner circle, and then prove to them that you're worthy of joining their ranks, they'll take you off the planet themselves. functionally wise, it's about the same as building a ship. Instead of the resources that go into building the ship, you need to build throne rooms and bedrooms. And the ship requires a warm-up period before you can launch it. And if you decide to host the Empire, then they need to be taken care of for the duration of their stay. Both times, people want to come in and absolutely destroy you, so it comes out about the same whichever way you go. However, this is not something we have to worry about right now. It's going to be a long time before we have to deal with that. We are getting our food baskets built, so let's take care of this. Right now, I only want to keep vegetarian items in there. Potatoes, corn, rice. Things that'll last for a while, just so that we can keep them out of our way. We'll copy that, paste it into this one. And now, whenever someone goes to clean up, they should just automatically move everything into these bins. That's the last one built. We'll paste into there. We have batteries going. How much excess power do we have? We have a lot of excess power and a chunk of spacecraft. Yeah, these happen. However, they're a good thing. You start off the map with a few of them, and every once in a while some can fall from the sky. They give a little bit of steel when you deconstruct them, but they usually give you 8 or 9 components as well. Early in the game, components tend to be pretty easy to come by, but late in the game, much less so. Having a good stockpile of components is rather important, because once you get to the later game, if you want to make bionics, if you want to make a ship, if you want to make weapons, or pretty much anything that requires electricity, it requires components, and they can run out very fast. So you're still just wandering around. 14 more days before you leave us. You're out cutting trees. You're cooking. You're going to grab something to eat, and then back to research. I do love that we have a dedicated researcher. Every once in a while you'll start a colony, but you'll have no one who has any particular skill at research. And it will slow the game down to a crawl because it takes forever to get any new technologies. Having a dedicated researcher, or at least someone who's good at it, speeds things up enormously. So, looking at this, we're still in need of having more stone cut. Oh, and our visitors have left us some components as a gift. Let's make sure that those get put away. They are going to be terribly useful in the future. Let's see, we do need more stone cut, but right now everyone is more focused on getting wood. How much wood do we have on the map? 431. I think that should be quite sufficient for the moment. So let's cancel our wood chopping orders. If we need more wood later, we can always get it. We'll let them haul that in, and in the meantime, let them get started on some crafting. At least I expect Marshall will. Does Marshall do crafting? Marshall is amazing at crafting. Yep, there she goes. So she'll get some new clothing done for them. And it looks like we'll get new clothing done before we run into tattered clothing, which is good, because tattered clothing, nobody wants to wear rags. That gives them a debuff that we want to avoid if we can. And to make sure that doesn't happen, we're going to tell people to not wear anything less than 50 hit points, and don't wear anything of less than normal quality. The same thing will go for you, even though you're not really wearing anything. Good, we'll get some cowboy hats up. We don't need the cowboy hats right now. Their primary purpose is to help keep people cool. Being that it's the middle of winter, it's only 78 degrees outside, but come the summer again, it'll be over 100 during the daytime. With cowboy hats and dusters, our pawns will be able to walk outside with no problems. No air conditioning needed. And besides that, they are quite fashionable. So they're going to get some sleep. It looks like we're getting some of the rice harvested. A flash storm. That could be bad. How far away is it? Pretty far. Flash storms are a particularly bad event. On their own, they're not terribly dangerous, but they cause multiple lightning strikes in a single area, which sets things on fire, and then it disables rain. We have more ship chunks. So with no rain, these fires are going to spread. Now the rain will come back eventually, but these fires will spread enough to burn out probably about a quarter of the map. That's a problem for us because our houses are still made out of wood. Fortunately, it's far enough away that we shouldn't have to deal with it. The downside is we're probably going to lose all these steel walls down here, because steel, for some reason, actually burns. Still not sure I understand the concept of that, but okay. Oh, and there's components down here? All components need to be brought in now. We cannot wait on that. Oh, you will do some hauling there. Maybe. I don't think so. Yeah, your hauling is disabled, so Haul Plus isn't going to do anything for you. Oh, we're going to lose all of this steel. I could set that to home zone and try to fight the fires, but it's so far away. Low food? Oh, well there we go. We just needed somebody to cook first. I do believe we're going to need some more storage in here. So perhaps we should make a proper common room. In fact, yes, let's do that. We still don't have any granite, which is what I would like to be building with. But we'll use what we've got. Oh, and here comes the rain. So the rain came faster than I expected. That knocked out the fires pretty quick. We did lose some wall down here, but we'll still be able to salvage something from this. And this place is starting to get pretty dirty. Let's get this cleaned up a little bit. A quest. Aloba Mbazo, the chief of the Alboyo tribe, wants you to stash a special prisoner for her. The prisoner, a 28-year-old lore keeper named Nuwan, well, I'm not even going to try that, knows embarrassing information about Mbazo's learning ability, and Mbazo doesn't want him to be freed. We need only keep the prisoner for 8 days until the scandal passes. Keeping a prisoner seems pretty easy. We could get some advanced components. Well, no, we can get one advanced component. Not useful to us now, but it will be later. But in all honesty, the amount of advanced components we're going to need, getting one, isn't that much of a difference. However, Meza, who are you? You are a miner. You have nothing that you're incapable of, which is fantastic. A 10 in mining is wonderful. You do a little bit of crafting, a little bit of art, you're a melee passion, which isn't as good. We'll still give you a gun. You're only 39 years old. You do have a scar. It's a little painful, but it's not debilitating. Not too debilitating. And if need be, we could always give you bionics later to cope with that. All in all, this person would be a valuable addition to the colony. The next question is, where can we keep them? And we do have this shuttle. This is the shuttle for our Muffalos. So, we're going to hit auto load and they should go there automatically, I think. Maybe? Please? Okay, maybe not. You carry them. And just to point out how amazing Alec is doing this, Muffalos, let's see, somewhere around here should be their weight. Meat amount, leather amount. Oh no, wait. It wouldn't be there. Let's go back here to the caravan screen, which is not something we would use very often. Oh, I can't even caravan them. Oh well, never mind. The point is, a Muffalo is basically a big blue oxen, or yak, or buffalo, and Alec can carry it single-handedly. That's just truly incredible. So, the shuttle's gone. We have successfully done our first quest. Well, no, second quest. Our first quest was rescuing someone. And that did get us some royal favor. We're getting our first corn harvest, so that's good. How's our growing? Still only a 7. I do believe that we need growing of an 8 before we can start doing heal root. Yeah. So, in the meantime, we're going to leave that on rice. And before any of this degrades in the outside, let's make sure that this all gets hauled in. We already have wild animals coming through and eating our food, and we don't want that. Although there is a strategy involved in doing that. It is possible to leave a feed pile outside if you'd like to add meat to your diet. By leaving the feed outside, it attracts wild animals, and since they don't generally stray too far from where the food is, it does leave you in easy hunting grounds. We're not going to do that yet, but we may do that in the future. In the meantime, if we want to have a prisoner, we're going to need a place to put them. So we're going to need to build another apartment-style complex like this. The question is simply where. We know that we have this earmarked for another generator as well as over here. We could put it over here somewhere or over here, and I'm thinking that right here is a good spot. So let's draw it out. And we have a wild woman. We'll look at her in a minute. So it's a 15 by 15 spot. So we'll give some space between the buildings. We go 15 by 15. There we go. Now we could build all of this at once, but we are a little bit low on wood, and I don't want to keep building things out of wood that I'm going to have to replace later, so we're just going to build one room. And it'll be a typical bedroom. So our prisoner will be living in the lap of luxury. Once all the rice is hauled in, I'm sure that Marshall will get to work on this. And while Marshall is busy, let's look at her. So Marja. Marjo? I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Sounds European. 75-year-old behavioral researcher. No art, no firefighting. Steadfast in bloodlust. Steadfast is nice, because when everyone's moods are getting low, because of raids, because of psychic drones, whatever the case may be, they're the last ones to break. And in fact, they almost never do. It takes very extreme circumstances before a steadfast pawn will break. Bloodlust is a little bit troubling, because they tend to try and hurt other people. However, we cannot deny the skills. The skills are good. The bigger concern, though, is 75 years old. And that's why. Amazing researcher with major Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's drops the efficiency of pretty much everything, as well as leaves the pawn vulnerable to random dazes and wandering. That's annoying at the best of times when someone like your best researcher goes wandering around. It can be absolutely devastating in the middle of a raid when they can walk right into the middle of fire. Everything else would be manageable. A bad back can be corrected with a bionic spine, and scars are usually pretty minor. There is one thing that we could do, however, but it is risky. I do believe that this is our ancient danger. And it's possible that inside of this ancient danger we could find luciferium. Luciferium is the drug that we were looking at last week when we set all of this up. It's not a recreational drug. Once you take it, you're addicted to it forever. But luciferium can heal everything except a lost limb. It could even cure her Alzheimer's. We're not going to try this yet. If she can survive down there, and given the environment, I think she can. There's berries for food, there's small game for predators to eat, so they shouldn't be hunting her. If she can survive long enough for us to get a little bit stronger and then crack open this, we can think about trying to recruit her. I don't know if we have anyone who's capable. Oh, yes, we do. Alec the vet with a 14. Alec can easily tame her. And then once she's tamed, she joins us as a colony member. Ancient dangers, though, are no joke. They could have swarms of insects. They could have swarms of robots. Either way, if we're not properly prepared, it could go poorly. So let's see how we're doing here. Everything is looking good. Are we out of wood? Doesn't look like it. Still 164 wood on the ground. We should be fine. We'll need to get this wired. I'm only going to wire those 2 walls because eventually we will build the rest of these. We'll put a light in. Oh, we ran out of time today. And we also ran out of luck. That could be bad. 4 tribespeople from Kobebango. They're only bringing clubs and knives, so they shouldn't be too much of a threat to us. They do outnumber us, though, given that Gray is a guest, and while he can fight, I really don't want him to get hurt. Hopefully they leave her alone, too. Which they seem to be. This is something else that we're going to have to do at some point. We're going to need defenses. Proper perimeter walls. Perhaps a place for us to make a stand. As it is now, we don't have anything except some stone chunks around the area, which means that we'll probably make our stand right here. We'll use the stones for cover, and we should be good. And here they come. All right, everybody in position. And we wait for them to approach. I do have search and destroy equipped, but the AI isn't exactly smart. So we'll keep them in hiding until we see how this is going to go. And this is going poorly. Let's back up. Go, go, go. That's 2 down. And that's enough. Now they're running. Good job, guys. Alright, before you do anything, get these corpses out of here. Because they will make people crazy. And then everyone can go back and get some rest again. I did wake you up in the middle of the night. And for that, I do apologize, but it wasn't my idea to raid the colony. You're still doing okay. I do wonder if maybe I should tame you sooner than later. The Alzheimer's won't kill you for a while. And as long as I keep you close to home, it would be good to have a helping hand. I think we will do that. I'll have Alec come down here and try to bring you in. As soon as Alec has time. Okay, and this room is now complete. It still does need a floor, but we'll get that in as we can. So we'll make that a prisoner room. And now that we have a place, let's go back down to the quests. 1 familiar prisoner. And look at that, we got her on the first try. So we'll take care of you in a minute. Right now, we're going to accept this quest for the colonist Meza. There's our new person. Marshall, you're cutting. Alec, you're researching. So Alec, would you come and capture? Take Nuon back to their accommodations. Where are you? Oh, there you are. And with Marjo here, we're going to need another bedroom. In the meantime, we'll simply free up one of these beds for her to sleep in temporarily. Let's look at your work priorities. We'll turn that up. We'll turn that up as well, even though I'm not entirely certain I trust you as a doctor. I'm going to take bed rest off for now. What happened? Oh, because you have a weakened mental state, you ended up knocking yourself out with smoke leaf. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. You cannot have smoke leaf. So for you, no drugs. No drugs at all. At least none that are going to weaken your mental state. Psychite, I do believe is not going to be a problem. And you do still need to have penoxysilene. So let's set that for every 5 days. Wake up you can have every 3 days, because that'll just boost your mental state. And once it wears off, you'll be right as rain. Just no more smoke leaf for you. Now, as for wood to get this built, we have lots of oak trees around us. So let's just chop down what we can see here. A mad hare, not too worried about that. Gray, if you see it, go ahead and defend yourself. But I have a feeling that somebody else will get to it first. Nuon is up and moving about. No serious health complications. Oh, looks like Lamp got there first. Come on. Well, thank you, Gray. I don't know why Lamp was having such a hard time with that, but I'm sure he appreciates the help. Another quest, the Deserter. This one, we have to think about real hard. So, Pusness Kakal, an artillery woman, is calling from nearby. She's deserted the army of the refugee empire and is being hunted by a loyalty squad. She wishes to join us at the last hope. Now, this quest, if we take it, will do two things. Number one, it will give us a new colonist, who I can't see anything about. But being an artillery woman, I'm going to guess she's good at shooting. She's going to come with some nice gear. She'll have her own gun. She might even have some armor. That'll put her one step above everyone else in the colony. The downside is, if we do this, it will instantly make us enemies of the Empire. That means that the favor that we have already will be useless. Gray will probably turn enemy on the spot, and if he doesn't turn enemy, he might just, walk out. And we may be subject to periodic raids from the Empire, just like we would any other faction. The downside there being that the Empire will almost always be better armed than us. Their basic level soldiers will come with body armor and rifles, and their highest level soldiers will come with cataphract armor. In general, it'll be a pretty bad day. And this place is filthy. We do need to get some cleaning done. In general, I try not to make an enemy out of the Empire. There are some benefits because you get some earlier side casting, but in this case, I think we're going to pass on this quest. It's just not quite worth it for us to make enemies. Besides, we already know that we have someone else coming once we take care of this prisoner. And we did just get a new colonist with Margeau. So we're not hurting for people. Speaking of a new colonist, we do need to up our numbers here. So that we're carrying enough meals for everybody. They're going to get all this cleaned up, which is good because the last thing we want is all the mood debuffs, possible food poisoning. Our research has been going very well, but as long as we can keep this room clean, our research will go faster. And we're about almost 2/3 to having microelectronics. So that's a good thing. We're getting some more wood. That'll let us get a new bedroom made for Margeau. And all in all, colony is doing very well. So, I think this is a good time to take a break. With everything planted, all our people healthy, new colony members, new quests, we are in fantastic shape. So we're going to leave off here, and I will catch you next time when we come back to Rimworld.